So I thought I'd do a quick roundup of a few new summer fresh releases. Originally, I thought I would just do a review of this new one from Maison Kurkdjian. I wasn't expecting this. I didn't know there was a new one coming, but I was just walking around Nordstrom and the green bottle caught my eye. Apparently it's not out yet, but the sales associate was nice enough to give me a sample. I've worn it twice already. I'll spray it again today. But I realized I probably don't actually have all that much to say about this, and you'll see why. So I thought I'd include two other newish releases. There's the new Hermes Jardin Cythère from Hermès, and I've got this little vial of Heeley's new Cologne Officinale. So first for the Maison Kurkdjian, it's from this kind of funny line, Cologne Forte, where he re-released 3 of his previous fragrances in this Cologne Forte concept. I suppose the idea is that it's light like a cologne, but stronger than a normal cologne. Forte, and coming from music, means strong, means to play loudly, but then colognes are typically soft and fleeting. I will say I like the opening of this a lot. I'll give it a spray. Obviously the bottle's green, it's going in a green direction, which is something very interesting. I feel like we're going through kind of a green phase or trend right now with things like H24, synthetic jungle coming out. So it starts, mint isn't listed, but I get a lot of mintiness, herbaceous. It says here, evoking both water and light. Green is the middle color of the rainbow, the prism that balances motion. It's embodied in the vibrant freshness. Features bergamot, verbena. I definitely get the verbena. I'm a fan of Heeley's, Vervan de Eugene, which has a strong verbena, smells more like tea note. Fennel and matcha I don't really get. A general herbaceousness, I suppose, that could be read as those. I get a freshness, but it doesn't read as bergamot to me. I suppose there is like a zesty, citrusy something at the beginning. But here's the disappointing thing for those who really hate Kurkdjian for this, is that it smells kind of like you expect. The base is very much that white, clean laundry musk smell you get in a lot of his Aqua perfumes. I think the green twist is interesting and different, as a lot of the other fragrances in this line go more of a like watery, wet, fresh, or floral twist. So the green take on this is definitely new to the line, but to those of you familiar with Aqua Universalis or Aqua Celestia, this will be a very familiar base. Like a lot of the Cologne Fortes, it doesn't last very long. It has a nice, bracing, refreshing opening, but after 3 or 4 hours, I did a generous spritz all over earlier today. It's pretty much gone. Nothing but maybe a very light, clean laundry scent is left. So it really depends on your needs and how you feel about short-lived fragrances and how you feel about the price. I think it's very nice, uplifting. I can see in the high heat of summer this feeling really great to spray on after a shower. But for those who like deeper, richer things, or those who don't like Francis's kind of signature clean laundry musks, you're not gonna like this either. It smells very familiar in the base. I think I'm just thinking of other Aqua fragrances from him. I'm thinking of Aqua Universalis, but without the florals from that. There's also one, I always get them mixed up. One of the Aquas, which is my favorite, has a strong minty gin kind of feel. And this reminds me of that, but I'd say less harsh, which I think the Cologne Fortes do in comparison to the other Aquas, is the musks aren't quite so sharp. So I think he's removed those super powerful, sharp white musks in the Cologne line. So you get something short-lived, smooth, but really kind of refreshing and uplifting. Because I do like the mintiness. It's like if you just took the top off Geranium Pour Monsieur, but removed all the warmth and all the base and all the complexity, kind of just stripped it back. So I like this. It might be my favorite of the Cologne Fortes, but at the price for something like this, I doubt I would buy it. It's the kind of thing where I think if you've got one, you don't need more. If you've got a favorite from one of the Aquas, You don't need more than one unless you really love that scent profile. But seeing as I don't own any of those except for 724, which I bought last summer, I might be tempted to get a small bottle of this. So kind of matte, it's very predictable. Basically, I think it's pretty much the way it goes with Francis Kurkdjian these days. It does what it says. It's pretty much what you expect if you're familiar with his style. Nothing groundbreaking here except for, I think the addition of a green scent profile is something slightly new to the range. Up next, I've been trying this since it came out here and there, and I really like it. The Jardin Cythère. I'll give it another spray. In comparison, this one has a lot more body, a lot more longevity, and a lot more going on. I really like the opening. It's this mix of herbs. You can detect a little bit of a sweet creaminess in the base. It's very lemony to me. If I could compare it to something, Guerlain's I'm forgetting the name now. Eau de Guerlain, there's one that's very strong lemon with a kind of vanilla tonka base. It really is kind of like a take on that. Let me check, I've got it in here. Yeah, this boy, Eau de Guerlain. Actually pretty similar. Eau de Guerlain, maybe a little more old-fashioned because there's some of those kind of old-fashioned oak mossy vanilla tonka Guerlainade in the base that I don't get in this, but to give you an idea, if you're familiar with this, very similar, especially in the opening. Yeah, so I get a strong burst of lemon, and you can detect herbs, something sweet, something creamy underneath. The creamy, sweeter, warm facet comes out more and more as you wear it. And I can't help but think that Nigel just can't help but make everything she does a little bit warm and cuddly. Even a fresh Jardin series, the dry down has that warm. They're listing pistachio. I wouldn't ever read pistachio if I hadn't read it, but there's a creamy, smooth nuttiness that I suppose reads as pistachio. To me, it's a little bit like vanillic. Given that this, I don't know what this goes for anymore, but I got this very cheap, one of the best kind of cheapies I've ever bought. It's an extremely complex, long-lasting, interesting perfume. But I really like this. I would say I like it more than the Kurkdjian. And it's actually my favorite from the Jardin line. But if you're a fan of Jean-Claude Elana's Jardins, you might not like this because it's very different, I think. But I think I wasn't a big fan of the Jardin line. A lot of them kind of went shampoo-y or shower gel to me. So I never really picked up any of those. This doesn't do that. There's something really addictive about the base and something really bright and uplifting about the introduction. So I think this is a really great release actually, but maybe not high heat summer because it does go a little bit sweet, and the late dry down, I'm not sure. Yeah, I love that sweetness so much, but yeah, a lot like this. A lot like Eau de Guerlain. I want to spray this now. I smell like a lot of colognes today. Oh yeah, Eau de Guerlain, it's not animalic, but in comparison, it smells animalic, which is really interesting. It's got that old-fashioned vintage, so this is like modernized, but very similar, lemony, herbaceous, a little bit sweet kind of scent profile. But I like it. I think this is a hit. And last but not least, Heely, one of the most slept on brands, and I'm so glad he's still around, making new releases, making new perfumes. Really talented. As far as I know, he's independent still to this day and been around as long as I can remember. Hearing things like Month Fresh being recommended since I first got into perfume. This is very good. Out of the three, this is the winner for me. Leans vintage, which isn't really my style, but it's definitely got that barbershop lavender kind of cologne smell. What's interesting is I was thinking the whole time I wore it that I don't get any citrus for a cologne. And sure enough, I looked up the notes and no citrus is listed. It's basil, galbanum, lavender, rosemary, sage, amber, oak moss. So yeah, very much that kind of barbershop-y. It says also it's inspired by French soap. It doesn't go particularly soapy to me, at least not in an annoying way. It's very herbaceous, It says galbanum, but it's not green in the way I've experienced with things like Chanel number 19. It's more herbal, lavender, a little bit soapy. Yeah, it has a little bit of that kind of Barbasol shaving foam aspect. Because these Lucky Scent samples are so hard, especially with a cologne, I thought I should apply a lot. So the first time I wore it, I splashed most of the vial on, and it lasted me the whole evening into the next morning. So really good longevity, really good lasting power for a cologne with none of those kind of predictable extenders, you know, like we get with the laundry musk and Kurkdjian. Other kind of mainstream colognes have those Ambrox or ISO-E. Familiar bases, we've just smelled them over and over again. This may contain those things, but it doesn't smell like it. Nothing pops out as really predictable, but really nice, herbaceous. To me, lavender is the star of this, the soapy lavender. So highly, highly recommend that if you're a fan of those kind of barbershop vintagey cologne smell. To me, it's a very handsome, very well-groomed kind of smell. Like I said, I usually don't like these vintage scent profiles, but Heely always has a way of really refining, boiling down, streamlining, modernizing his perfumes. So I think he achieves that in a way that makes me like this. Even though it's a nod to a vintage scent profile, it's modernized and streamlined in a way that I like. So here's 3 new releases. I would say for me, the must try is the Heely. If you've tried one, you've tried them all for Francis, but maybe you'll like the Green Take. Didn't plan on talking about this today, but if you see this for cheap, amazing. But it does have kind of a vintagey dry down. And then this also really good, but a little bit, maybe the sweeter and the warmer out of this selection. Anyway, let me know if you've tried these. I believe this doesn't come out, at least in the US, they told me next month, the beginning of June. But yeah, they had testers out at Nordstrom in NYC at least. Let me know if you've tried these or have any favorite summer colognes. Bye.